Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tiffany Tucker, and this is my TED Talk inspired by the theme, A World Reimagined. A World Reimagined. Imagining things upside down and knowing how to put them right side up. I'm an eternal optimist. I always like to look on the bright side of life. Glass half full and all of those sayings. I even pride myself on this mentality. I actively encourage my friends, family and students to consider the good they can get out of something, rather than think about anything that might go wrong, rather than think even for a second what might happen if things don't go to plan. We are raised to think about the beneficial outcomes, the fairy tale endings, and envision ourselves at our best, always. And this isn't necessarily wrong, but it certainly isn't wholly right either. I want us to reimagine a world where things aren't as rosy or picture perfect as we would want. Life isn't like this. So why don't we prepare ourselves to deal with setbacks and failures in more effective ways? That phrase, failure is not an option, is not true. Failure is a reality, and one we cannot and should not ignore. Failure. It has an awful sound to it, doesn't it? A sound and tone created by society. It sounds like judgment. It sounds like pity. But if we are all honest with ourselves and reflect on past experiences, we know that out of failure comes the biggest achievements and successes, far greater than we could have ever imagined. In life, we do fail. It's inevitable and it's a part of everyday life. Yet we're so afraid of it. No wonder when things don't go right, we go horribly wrong. The irony is that I've had to learn about failure being more positive through failing myself. I've experienced hardships, heartache, sadness. I wanted to curl up in a ball and let things wash over me. I've wanted to give up. Why did I want to give up in these difficult times? Was it because I was never taught what to actually do in these difficult times, only how to avoid them? Why was I wrestling with why I couldn't stop crying rather than actually embracing the crying experience? Feeling sad or angry or mad aren't emotions we should avoid. They are emotions we should welcome because they bring about wonderful after effects. Teachers will say to students, the best things come out of failures. And I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, because all you can think about is how hard you studied on that test, and how much effort you put in, and how little that grade seems staring back at you. That when you were handed your paper, your immediate thoughts were, it's not what I wanted, but clearly my grades reflect me doing well and I'm no good. Instead, we should all be thinking, I didn't do as well as I wanted to, and there is nothing wrong with that. I won't bury my emotions away and pretend I'm okay either. I'm not okay. Not right now, anyway. You might cry a little, go inward a little, and then get back up and go straight back to the drawing board. Too many times we try to rush through phases of sorrow after a loss because we are ready to, before we are ready to. And it just haunts us and follows us onto the next similar experience where we react in the same way because it's what we were taught to do. When things fall apart, it paves the way for greater things to come to light. But we aren't able to ever see this clearly, I feel. So I guess if I'm going to discuss my world reimagined and the different way we're going to look at failure, then I should give you a few suggestions about how we actually deal with failures differently. Step 1, deal with the emotions. Cry, shout, be honest with those you feel comfortable and vulnerable with, and don't rush your recovery process. If the result of the test you prepared days and weeks for is still upsetting you, then you must let that be. Step 2, reflect and regroup. The danger of step 1 is that sometimes an end doesn't seem to be in sight. But thinking back, evaluating, discussing, reconsidering, and understanding paves the way for feeling better. Step 3. Share your experiences and stories. About 1.5 years ago, I began listening to a podcast called How to Fail with Elizabeth Day. Here's the intro to her podcast. How to Fail with Elizabeth Day is a podcast that celebrates the things that haven't gone right. Each week, a new interviewee explores what their failures taught them about how to succeed better. Every podcast of Elizabeth Day that I've listened to has enlightened, delighted, and filled me with comfort, knowing that it is okay to fail. And actually, it's necessary to fail. From all of the different stories and suggestions and experiences celebrities and personalities have shared with me and their audiences. Yes, kids, failure is essential to life. It is essential to your inevitable success. So we have to become okay with things not going right. Only when we know that this is the course of life can we deal with these failures in a more healthy way. I want us to reimagine a world where things fall apart, where things don't always go to plan, where things aren't always what we want them to be, and then know how to deal with these situations. To be equipped with the tools that help us to navigate through a difficult time. Just to be clear, I'm not for a second saying that we should be imagining life at its bleakest. This is all about making the best out of bad situations. Lemons out of lemonade. I'm saying that bleak times are inevitable, and it's how we muster, crawl, and drag ourselves through these times and sip that sweet lemonade that ultimately makes all the difference. Thank you.